we have a car rental business at the Nurburgring, obviously, called Ring Freaks, and we are kind of freaks at the Nurburgring. And we all started off by renting out BMW E90s. Now, 325, 330 E90s, perfect car, very reliable, nothing to worry about. You can give them to anybody can drive them, problem-free. But then we came up with this idea and we said, you know what, E36s. Now that's a chassis everybody likes. We kind of built a few of these 325 E36 real race cars. One of them actually driven the 24-hour race at the Nürburgring. As soon as we start renting those cars out, everybody loved them, everybody enjoyed them. They're not the fastest cars, especially not on a big track as the Nürburgring, but still people would want to drive them. Then we came quickly with the first issue where we could rent these cars out literally to anybody. So everybody who has a driver license can come up to the Nürburgring, rent one of our cars and lap them on the most dangerous track in the world. That sounds like a very fantastic plan. So that's what we did. After a few years of running these cars, we noticed that modern day drivers, they're used to modern day cars. So they have all the nannies, especially people with like BMW M2, M3s. They have 500 horsepower and up. But they have traction control, stability control, and they're the king of the racetrack. So now those people come to our place and they say, hey Ray, I want to rent an E36 because that's a real man's car. So I said, okay, let's do it. Let's rent them out. And then we got the first incident we ever had with an E36 was actually your typical, yes, I know how to drive a car, but I don't know how to do things when there is no nannies involved. And this became more and more and more frequent. But it was a sporadical crash. So let's say we rented out these cars on a daily basis for like 200-300 miles per day. And at every 2,000 miles, one would have an incident. So this is all fairly normal, especially considering it's like the most dangerous track in the world and everybody's driving there and what's so not. Back in 2021, so just right after COVID, when the track opened again, everybody could lap the Nürburgring again. There was a guy from California. And usually when people come rent a car from me, I ask them, is it your first time on the Nürburgring? Mostly the answer is no. Second question I ask then, what is your track experience? Or do you have any track experience? And there the answers are like mind-blowing sometimes. This one guy from California, he said, yeah, I have plenty of track experience. I do autocross in my Spec Miata. I said, perfect. Spec Miata E36 325, same car, kind of same. So he goes out. 1 hour later, we get a phone call from the Nürburgring saying, hey, Ray, one of your cars just crashed. It's broken. So he went, picked up the car, and yes, the guy kind of crashed the car, which was fine. It happens. We're not angry about it. Things happen. What we noticed is that these accidents became more and more frequent, actually. But the worst accidents are like the silliest driver errors. So good. The second crash in the same year was a guy from California as well. And after he came back crashing the car, I asked him, so what was your track experience then? And he said, well, I do autocross with a Spec Miata. So this is very big coincidence. There were two people crash our E36s, and both of them happened to be Spec Miata drivers doing autocross, right? A few months later, we had a third big crash with an E36. Also, this guy was a Spec Miata driver from California. And I kid you not, this is absolutely no hate on Spec Miata drivers, but it is what it is. So we got to think, we said, listen, we have now 3 big crashes with E36s, which were, in our opinion, an uncrashable car. They have no power. They do exactly what you want them to do. They steer very well. They literally do everything. They have plenty of traction. So kind of uncrashable. We had 6 or 7 of these E36s in our rental fleet. 3 of them, meanwhile, broken down. Now we came to the 24-hour race in 2021, which was actually held late September instead of in the beginning of June, which it usually is. So the weather was kind of perfect. September is like summer prime time at the Nürburgring. And we had a group of people renting a couple of our cars. One of them was an E36. And because it's a group, I usually ask these people what is their experience, because people who come in groups, they usually do track events together. The same thing that happens here in the States, where these car clubs, they all know each other, so they kind of do their track holidays across the pond and everything. And they said, yeah, we are actually the Miata Owners Club of California. And I'm like, hang on. we need to talk about this for a second. So I kind of told him the stories about the 3 previous big crashes we had with E36s. Now, luckily, a few of those guys were actually quite smart, hired one of our instructors to go with them. We also have these BMW F30s, which are automatic, very easy to drive as well. But there was the one guy, and he really wanted the E36. So I warned him and I said, listen, the E36 turns out not to be as easy as you think it is on the Nurburgring. He said, no, I know what I'm doing because I have a old NB Miata and I lap it every single weekend at, I think it was at Willow Springs or something, that he was doing all these events. So I said, okay, Willow Springs, not the easiest track in the world either. It's a dangerous track. You should know your limits, so we'll be fine on the Nurburgring as well. Well, he crashed it as well. It is what it is. So this is now our 4th crash within a few months' time, coming up to the Nurburgring 24-hour race. Now, the Nurburgring 24-hour race, as it happens to be this week as well, is the one week where we can all take a week off. It's the best possible way to all go on holiday when you have, like in a seasonal business, something where everybody needs to work like 8 months flat out, and you only have the other 4 months left in the winter time. So the Nurburgring 24-hour race is like the week where you can actually say, okay, let's take a break from 8 months of full power working. Now, that sadly didn't happen because we now had to fix 4 cars in like 1.5 weeks time because they were all rented out after the Nurburgring 24-hour race, which is also a very busy week for us because people come to the Nurburgring, watch the 24-hour race, and then they want to kind of do it themselves. We didn't manage to actually fix any of those E36s because we had some other car with some problems as well. And now came the 5th guy. And the 5th guy, same thing happened there. So I asked the guy, I said, hey, first time on the Nürburgring. Of course, it's the first time. What is your track experience? He says, well, I drive a Spec Miata and I do autocross with it. So I said, this is getting worse and worse and worse now. So anyway, he goes out, crashes the car. Now, this sounds simply unbelievable to have like 5 Spec Miata drivers, all 5 being from California even not knowing each other, crashing E36s on the Nürburgring in the same year. It's so unbelievable, but it's true. So we had actually 1 working E36 left at the time. So customer number 6 walks in a few weeks later, also rented an E36 325, and the same happened there, Spec Miata driver from California. I now tell this story. I said, listen, this is what we've been going through the whole season. We never had this in all the years before. We never had people crashing the same car actually so often. So please stop this spell. Like somehow it's doomed or something. It's like some higher forces that got onto the E36s and it's not very nice anymore. So please don't crash the car. He came back actually with the car and he said, Ray, I like it. I love it. It's the best car I've ever driven on a racetrack, especially on this track. It's just, it's a marriage that should have happened years ago. He had so much fun and he wanted to go out again. I said, listen, think about this for a second because you're now the first that actually successfully driven the Nürburgring without crashing our E36s. He said, I know, but I still want to go out and do a few more laps. So I'm like, okay, so I kind of reviewed the laps he's driven. They all seemed very normal, all fine. So he goes out again and what happens? He crashes the car. This was now E36 number 6 that was crashed. I said, this is very bad because we actually have so many E36s booked out for the rest of the year and we don't have any left. Now, luckily, our team of mechanics are like by far the best in the world, genuinely, because they fix cars quicker and they can maintain. We have so many cars and the way that they maintain them is incredible. They managed to fix, meanwhile, a few of our E36s. Now the 7th guy walks in. Again, 3 weeks later. And I tell him the same story again. I said, dude, there is really like, I don't know, some witchcraft happening with E36s and people from California. So please, now really break the spell. Like, I want no crashes today, right? And he says, Ray, you can count on me because I have countless of experience. And I'm also a professional sim racer on top of that. And this is like the best thing that a rental car company on the Nürburgring can hear, where somebody tells you, hey, I've never driven this track in real life. It's my first time in Germany, first time on the Nürburgring. But I know the track inside out because I dated a video game. That's like the best thing you can hear. So I said, you know what? It's almost the end of the season. We're going to stop renting out the E36s anyway because it's becoming way too difficult for people. So there you have it. Take your E36 and go nuts, right? Now, he did actually a whole day of driving. He did many, many, many laps around the Nürburgring. He did like 250 miles in one day. Not bad for a first timer on the Nurburgring. And he brought the car back in one piece. And I was so happy, because that was for me the point where I said, you know what, maybe we were simply having a bad luck, a bad year. Maybe we should keep the E36s, because everybody loved it. This was our most booked car in the world. Like simply from all of our cars, it was the best booked one. And truth being told, it was the best moneymaker for a rental car company, because they're kind of cheap in maintenance, they're reliable, they always function, you get what you pay for, it's very simple. So I thought we are saved. This is now the point where I can really think about maybe keeping the E36s for one more season, or maybe 2 more seasons. Suddenly, one of our mechanics writes me a message and says, hey Ray, he kind of misshifted. We have these data loggers built in the car. Now, people who are into E36s, some of them will notice that in 1992, when BMW actually built the first 325s with the M50 engine, they had no VANOS, like 0. And then it quickly became to a single VANOS actually. Now, that specific E36 that the guy had driven was a non-VANOS E36. He did about 9,000 RPMs in it, and he bended all the valves. All of them. He didn't crash the car, but yet the car was broken. My whole dream of keeping the E36s came to a full end there, where we fully understood that this is not a modern car anymore. It's not for modern day drivers anymore. And that's kind of how we lost 7 E36s in one single season on the Nürburgring, all by Californians doing Spec Miata driving.
Have you ever gotten an automated speeding ticket, either from a fixed position camera or a school zone? In the US, that's less common than it is in Europe, and most of the time when you get the notification, they'll tell you that it's just about the payment, that they're not going to report anything. As long as you pay your speeding ticket, you won't have any points on your license or any additional risks. But did you know that those are some of the easiest tickets of all to fight and beat, especially with a partner like the Ticket Clinic? In Florida so far, they are 500-0. They've never lost fighting one of these tickets. So not only can they get them totally thrown out, but they can save you a ton of money. So check them out now at the link in the description below. You can actually just take a picture of your ticket, no matter when it comes in the mail or how you're issued a ticket, and text that picture to 305-305, and that'll get them on the case immediately. They'll let you know exactly what the proper course of action is and what their strategies are for every local municipality or jurisdiction to get your ticket dealt with. And of course, for regular tickets, for speeding tickets and things like that, the Ticket Clinic is your perfect partner to fight every one. They'll help you avoid costly fines, risk of license suspension, points on your license, jail time, higher insurance premiums, all the bad things that come with getting a bad ticket. The Ticket Clinic can help. They've got a nationwide network of attorneys that can help you find the perfect local partner that knows your area, knows your county, knows everything about it, and can help you fight your ticket and achieve the best possible outcome. So check them out now at the link in the description below to thank them for their support of VINwiki and fight your ticket with the Ticket Clinic.